Our female protagonist is named Yuki Itos. At this moment, she has just bought a very cute dress. So Yuki immediately puts on the dress and gets on the train to go home. But while Yuki is standing on the train, suddenly, a foreigner unexpectedly approaches her. He seems to want to ask for directions to a cafe. But Yuki has been hearing impaired since childhood. So Yuki cannot hear him. She can only put her hands together and respond using gestures. However, he does not understand. The foreigner even thinks Yuki is refusing to help. At this moment, a guy notices the situation and steps in to help. And he helps Yuki translate. This guy's name is Itsuomi. He is in the same club as Rin Fujishiro. Thanks to Itsuomi's help, the foreigner finally understands the directions. He bows to thank them and then says goodbye. At this moment, Yuki tucks her hair to one side. She reveals her hearing aid. Then Yuki uses sign language to thank Itsuomi. And she explains that she cannot hear. Yuki feels that using sign language seems inconvenient. So she plans to type on her phone instead. However, Itsuomi stops her. He asks, "Can you read lips?" Yuki replies, "I can read lips a little." At this moment, while the two are talking, Yuki realizes that Itsuomi speaks Japanese very fluently. So Itsuomi smiles and says, "This is the first time I've met someone as cute as you." Yuki. After that, he slows down his speech. Itsuomi moves his lips more clearly so Yuki can read them easily. He asks Yuki, "Are you getting off at the next station?" Yuki replies, "I still have one more station to go." At this moment, Itsuomi places his hand on Yuki's head. He says that he has to go now. But before Itsuomi leaves, unexpectedly, he also says, "I hope we'll meet again." Because this is the first time they have met. Yet he is not awkward around Yuki at all. Itsuomi even says goodbye as if they will meet again. This makes Yuki feel her own heart flutter. The next morning, Yuki wakes up early. She prepares her things to go to school. Yuki has something she wants to ask her friend Rin. She tells Rin about the guy who helped her on the train the day before. After hearing everything, Rin says that the guy is Itsuomi, and that he has just returned from Canada. Itsuomi often travels abroad as a backpacker. Seeing Yuki's cute expression, Rin immediately guesses that Yuki has fallen for him. Yuki instantly blushes, and she says that everything happened too quickly. Yuki thinks that what she feels is not love but just admiration. At this moment, Rin also says, "I'm also admiring someone. He is the cafe owner where Itsuomi is working part-time, and the two of them are cousins." However, every time Rin thinks about talking to the cafe owner, she trembles with nervousness, so every time, she forgets to ask for his contact information. Rin says, "I believe that if Yuki comes with me this time, I will definitely succeed in getting his contact information." Hearing Rin say this makes Yuki feel shy, but she also wants to get Itsuomi's contact information. In the end, the two girls make up their minds together. They will get the contact information of the two young men. On the day of the appointment, Yuki wears a very pretty dress. She asks her mother for permission to go out, and Yuki promises to return before the set time. At this moment, when they step into the cafe, when Yuki sees that it is Itsuomi, she feels that his image is very different from before. This surprises her. Then Rin immediately steps forward to thank Itsuomi for helping Yuki last time. At that very moment, the cafe owner walks out. This makes Rin freeze in place from nervousness. While the two young men are chatting very naturally, the two girls can only stay silent, not knowing what to say. This makes Yuki feel sad. Suddenly, Itsuomi lifts her chin with his hand and asks, "Can you drink alcohol?" Seeing Itsuomi's intimate gesture, Yuki becomes flustered, so she orders a drink. And an indescribable feeling appears in Yuki's heart. At this moment, Yuki learns that Itsuomi can speak 3 languages, English, German, and a little Chinese. In addition, he is also studying Spanish. This makes Yuki very interested, and she makes cute gestures while chatting. During that time, several regular customers enter the cafe. Suddenly, a girl kisses Itsuomi on the cheek, shocking Yuki so much that her face turns bright red. After she calms down, Yuki realizes that they are just greeting each other. Itsuomi seems to be used to this. In Yuki's eyes, he is someone who has traveled through many worlds. She turns to look at Rin. Yuki sees that Rin has successfully gotten the contact information. Now it is Yuki's turn. She also wants to ask for Itsuomi's contact information. But when Yuki picks up her phone, she does not know how to bring it up, while everyone around them is laughing and chatting happily. Even though Yuki cannot hear anything, she can still sense the atmosphere. In the end, Yuki does not manage to get Itsuomi's contact information. After leaving the cafe, Yuki and Rin plan to head home. At this moment, Itsuomi has also finished his shift, and he offers to walk them home. Rin says, "My house is also nearby, so I can go home by myself." Therefore, she asks Itsuomi to take Yuki home instead. But before Yuki has time to decide, Itsuomi has already taken out an umbrella and is waiting. So the two of them walk side by side. Yuki can only look at his back, not knowing what to say. Suddenly, a motorcycle speeds toward them from behind. Itsuomi immediately pulls Yuki into his arms. He shields her and says, "Be careful." After that, he holds Yuki's hand and leads her home. Even though they cannot put it into words, Yuki does not want him to let go of her hand at all. When they reach a certain part of the road, Yuki suddenly stops. Then she types on her phone, "Please give me your contact information." Itsuomi agrees. At this moment, he smiles and asks what names they should save each other under. Yuki sticks out her little finger, and Itsuomi does the same, but he still does not understand. In the end, she successfully gets his contact information. After that, Itsuomi asks where her house is, because they are already close to the station. Yuki says that she can go home by herself. Finally, the two say goodbye, but after Yuki walks a few steps, she suddenly turns back and asks, "Is this world big?" Itsuomi replies, "My world is very big, so please let me learn more about your world too." The two look back at each other. Suddenly, a new feeling appears in Yuki's world. She feels very happy and does not want this feeling to disappear. Seeing Yuki's bright smile, Itsuomi smiles along with her. Ever since yesterday's incident, Yuki keeps thinking about Itsuomi. In her heart, there is always a thoughtful, lingering feeling. By morning, Yuki is so lost in thought that she has to wait for her mother to remind her, "You're going to be late for school." Only then does she snap back to reality. Rin is very happy for Yuki, because yesterday she successfully got Itsuomi's phone number. But when standing next to him, Yuki becomes very nervous. She keeps staring at the messages Itsuomi sent her. Yuki never gets tired of looking at them. Rin says that this time Yuki might meet Itsuomi again, because the international club often gathers here. While the two of them are chatting, Yuki suddenly notices Itsuomi sitting at a nearby table. He is talking with several very pretty girls. She watches the movement of his lips, and guesses that he is not speaking Japanese. After they finish talking, Itsuomi quickly leaves. At this moment, Yuki wants to call out to him, but she does not dare to. So Rin calls out to him for her. Itsuomi quickly walks over, making Yuki feel embarrassed. She does not dare to look him straight in the eyes, but Itsuomi keeps staring at her attentively. He asks, "Aren't you doing that today?" Yuki is about to type something, when Itsuomi suddenly steps closer to observe her, and the distance between him and her is always too close, making her flustered and unable to think of anything. After Yuki calms down, she replies, "I actually want to, but because I'm at school." At this moment, Itsuomi looks at her for a long time. Suddenly, he praises her, saying, "You're very cute." This makes Yuki's face turn completely red. She does not know whether she has misread his lips or not. When it is time to board the plane to Laos, Itsuomi says goodbye to Yuki and leaves. Rin says, "Every time you talk to him, you look very happy. You two are just like you're in love." Meanwhile, Yuki looks completely different today compared to yesterday. Suddenly, Rin waves toward a boy standing nearby. His name is Oshi Ashioki. Oshi asks who that person from earlier was. While the two are talking, another boy comes over to chat with Oshi. He says that the girls earlier looked really cute, and that he wants to invite them out for drinks next time. Oshi replies that the long-haired girl cannot hear, and that even with a hearing aid, she still cannot hear clearly. After that, Itsuomi texts Yuki, asking if she wants him to buy her a gift. Yuki tells Rin that she does not know whether this feeling is love or just admiration. Meanwhile, Rin says that she admires the cafe owner, but since yesterday, it has already turned into love. Rin responds, "If you can't tell the difference, then just take your time and choose one slowly." Hearing this, Yuki messages Itsuomi, saying that she wants a gift, and wishes him a safe trip. That afternoon, a guy accidentally passes through the ticket gate without showing his ticket. Even though the station staff calls out to him, he continues walking straight ahead. Oshi notices that the guy is wearing a hearing aid, so he immediately chases after him. Oshi uses sign language to remind him that he forgot to show his ticket. At that moment, Izumi happens to walk by. For the first time, she sees Oshi using sign language with someone other than Yuki. If Oshi had not been there, the guy might have been mistaken for a fare evader. Because he cannot hear, situations like this can easily become dangerous. Yuki thinks that it would be wonderful if she could always be in a safe place. In Yuki's mind, she continues thinking about Itsuomi. She does not know where he is now or what he is doing. By evening, Itsuomi sends Yuki a photo. In the picture, he is posing with children in Laos. Everything in the photo looks very new and unfamiliar. These are things Yuki has never seen and never known before. Itsuomi messages that he is staying at a guest house, which only costs $7. so the Wi-Fi is a bit weak. He says that he will return to school in 2 days. Hearing this, Yuki is so happy that she rolls around all night and cannot fall asleep. The next morning, Yuki arrives at school a little early. By coincidence, she meets Itsuomi again. The two greet each other. In that moment, Yuki feels that in this vast world, as long as Itsuomi appears, everything around her becomes gentler. She hopes that this feeling is love, and not just admiration. Upon meeting Itsuomi again, Yuki has many things she wants to ask, and it seems that he has remembered how to greet her using sign language. Itsuomi asks Yuki to hold out her hands. He takes her hands in his, and then gives her a souvenir. Yuki writes on paper, then smiles. She thanks him very much and says that she really likes the gift. Itsuomi raises his hand and gently pats Yuki's head. She feels very warm. Perhaps he wants to say something more, but Yuki does not dare to lift her head to look at him. When she gets home, Yuki begins to carefully admire the gift Itsuomi gave her. She thinks that he must have seen many things that she has never known. The school for the hearing impaired that Yuki attended from kindergarten through high school is all located on the same campus. The number of students is very small, with only 4 people in her class. It is a place where she always feels safe. Everyone there is gentle and warm. But even so, Yuki still wants to know how vast the outside world is. She excitedly runs off, wanting to tell Rin about Itsuomi. But when she sees Rin chatting animatedly with someone else, she can only turn back. From behind, Oshi asks what she is doing, standing there so stiffly. Seeing Yuki's curiosity, Oshi says that everyone is discussing what they will do during spring break. Oshi's sign language always looks a bit rough. Sometimes, those fingers that seem weak and lacking strength make Yuki feel that he is truly worried about her. Oshi asks why Yuki goes to the trouble of attending university. Just as Yuki is about to answer, someone accidentally bumps into her. That person is none other than Itsuomi. He reaches out and holds her head, then gently shakes it. Every time Yuki's eyes meet his, she feels as if she is stepping into the outside world, a world she had never known before, now gradually opening up before her eyes. In Yuki's eyes, the students around him look like sparkling stars stepping out of a movie. Oshi tells her not to get too carried away. But how could she not be happy? Rin runs up from behind and puts her arm around Yuki's shoulders. Oshi immediately walks away and says that hugging from behind is not good, because Yuki cannot hear footsteps. After that, Yuki tells Rin about the matter of love versus admiration from before. She says that this time, she will choose love. Yuki looks toward Itsuomi, and then makes a sign language gesture. Itsuomi texts her, asking what that sign meant. Yuki replies that it was a greeting, like asking how he is doing, or a form of encouragement. After that, Itsuomi makes the same gesture in return. Every time Itsuomi looks at Yuki, she becomes so nervous that she can't look back at him, even when his fingers move slightly. The feelings inside her quietly tremble. That feeling, Yuki knows its name. It is love. The next evening, Rin and Yuki go together to Itsuomi's cafe. Rin no longer looks as tense as last time, while the two of them are sitting and choosing what to order. Suddenly Yuki's hearing aid makes a noise. Itsuomi looks at her and asks what happened. Yuki calmly explains. She says that when the hearing aid is not fitted securely, it makes that kind of sound. Itsuomi then asks, "How much can you hear right now?" Yuki answers honestly. She says that she has never heard sounds clearly. Everything to her feels like many sounds mixed together. She was born hearing impaired, so if she takes off her hearing aid, she won't hear anything at all. The shop owner nearby hears this and is startled. He thinks that his younger brother is asking very strange questions. Itsuomi turns his back, looking a bit embarrassed. Yuki waves to call him back. When Itsuomi turns around, she hands him the sign language notebook she made herself. Itsuomi opens the notebook. Inside are very detailed drawings. There is a picture of the index and middle fingers touching the thumb. And that is the sign for a word in sign language. As the two of them sit close together, Yuki suddenly notices that Itsuomi's fingers are very long. Itsuomi looks at the drawings and shakes his head with a smile. He says that it is still very hard to understand just by looking at pictures. He wants Yuki to teach him directly. The sign language word Yuki uses the most is cute. While Itsuomi is trying to copy that gesture, he suddenly reaches out and lightly touches her chin and asks, "Is something wrong?" The sudden action makes Yuki blush. She secretly thinks, if I've already fallen for him, then what should I do? Suddenly, two of Itsuomi's friends walk into the cafe. One boy staggers and bangs his face into the table. The girl with him hurriedly apologizes. Yuki thinks that girl is very pretty. Suddenly, the guy Shin compliments Yuki, saying she is cute, and invites her to his hair salon. He talks a lot, making Yuki feel shy, so Itsuomi immediately pulls him away inside. At this point, the shop owner explains that they are Itsuomi's high school friends. That boy's name is Shin when he's not drinking. He's very cool. The girl's name is Emma, and she always sticks close to Itsuomi wherever he goes. They talk with each other for a long time. Yuki doesn't understand what they are saying, even though they are just friends. The way she looks at Itsuomi makes Yuki feel uneasy. When they leave, those two friends are still walking very close together. Yuki asks the shop owner, "Are those two dating?" The shop owner answers that they are just friends. He also says that perhaps they won't be able to date in the future either. Before Yuki goes home, Itsuomi reminds her to be careful. He tells her to pay attention to relationships between men and women. Yuki nods. She says that she trusts him. 4 days pass, and Yuki doesn't see Itsuomi. She messages him to ask if he is in Japan. Itsuomi replies that he is at a laundromat near the university. He asks her if she wants to come. Yuki asks her mother for permission and then goes out. She promises she will be home before curfew. On the way there, Yuki accidentally runs into Oshi. He angrily throws a tissue toward her and asks where she is going. Oshi advises her not to see Itsuomi anymore. He says that she might be getting toyed with by him. Yuki denies it and continues walking. When she arrives, Yuki sits down, catching her breath. Itsuomi hurriedly buys her a drink. He suggests exchanging one 10-yen coin of hers for another 10-yen coin. He says that in the future, he will use that coin to show her many new and interesting things. Yuki asks why he often goes abroad. Itsuomi smiles and says, "When we become closer, I'll tell you." Yuki blushes. She says that she wants the two of them to become closer. Itsuomi uses the sign for cute that Yuki taught him. He also gently pats her head. He says that from the first time he saw her use sign language, his world began to change. He had lived overseas and loved language sand cultures, but he never expected that something so precious would be so close to him. When Yuki asks what closer means in sign language, she curls 2 fingers and gradually lifts them upward. Itsuomi takes her hand and gently lowers it. He says, "I understand." He hugs her and says, "You're cute," in German. He laughs happily. His hand still tightly holds hers, as if he doesn't want to let go. After saying that, Itsuomi bursts into cheerful laughter. His fingertips are still holding onto Yuki's hand, as though he truly doesn't want to release it. Itsuomi says that he really likes snow. In Japanese, snow is called Yuki, pronounced the same as Yuki's name. Yuki uses sign language for the word like, and says that next time Itsuomi can try using that gesture. Yuki thinks that Itsuomi is planning to use that word, like, for someone. But it turns out that Itsuomi is simply saying that he likes traveling. On the way to walk Yuki home, Itsuomi gently pulls her closer to the pedestrian crossing line. He does this to keep her safer. Yuki hesitates for a moment, then asks, "The girl who came to the cafe last time, is she your girlfriend?" At that moment, Yuki doesn't dare to look directly into Itsuomi's eyes. Itsuomi reaches out and lightly pokes her cheek, then shakes his head. He says that the girl is not his girlfriend, just a friend. Itsuomi adds that he also has a very close friend at school. That person knows sign language. Yuki guesses that it must be Oshi. She remembers that Oshi's older sister studied together with Itsuomi, so perhaps Oshi learned sign language because of that. She also remembers that the first time Oshi used sign language was to call her idiot when they were in 2nd grade. Itsuomi says that next time, they will meet again at the cafe. Yuki smiles and holds out her hand. She wants to hook pinkies with him as a promise. When Itsuomi arrives back at his apartment, he sees Emma already standing there waiting. Emma says that she wants to ask if she can stay at his place. As soon as they step into the room, Itsuomi turns around, intending to go back outside. Emma asks in surprise, "You don't want me to come anymore?" Itsuomi says that he doesn't want this to continue. Emma replies that she is doing this because of him. Itsuomi sighs. He explains that what he means is that she shouldn't cry like that in front of his door. He's afraid it will disturb the neighbors. In the end, Itsuomi goes outside, leaving Emma alone inside. Before closing the door, Emma accidentally notices the sign language notebook. It is the notebook that Yuki gave to Itsuomi. At this moment, Yuki is sitting and gazing at the coin Itsuomi gave her. Just by holding it in her hand, she feels as if she could go anywhere. Rin messages Yuki. She says that on the cafe's next day off, Rin wants to go shopping with the shop owner, because it feels a bit awkward for just the two of them to ride in the same car. She wants to invite Yuki and Itsuomi to go along as well. That night, Itsuomi asks to stay over at Kiyoya's place. He even asks for dinner, leaving Kiyoya unsure how to refuse. While watching a movie, Itsuomi always turns on subtitles. He wants to remember English better. Itsuomi recalls how skillfully Oshi used sign language. Because of that, He also wants to practice sign language so he can talk more with Yuki. Itsuomi knows that Yuki seems to like him a lot, but he is still worried about Emma. He doesn't want to see her cry ever again. Yuki messages Itsuomi about going shopping with Rin to make 4 people in total. Itsuomi agrees. Yuki is so happy that she prepares many outfits. She even does her makeup and takes careful care of herself. When she realizes she has run out of skincare cream, she immediately goes to the shop across the street to buy more. At the same time, Emma is walking down the street. Everyone around is drawn to her appearance. A guy follows her to strike up a conversation, but Emma ignores him. Emma invites Shin to go drinking. Shin agrees. Emma confides in Shin about Itsuomi. She says that no matter how hard she tries, she still can't get close to him. She also says that Itsuomi is learning sign language. Shin decides that tonight he will drink a lot with Emma to forget her sadness. Finally, the day of shopping arrives. Rin says that the shop owner can drive over to pick them up. But Yuki doesn't want him to come all the way to her house. Just as Yuki leaves home, she runs into Oshi again on the train. She lies and says that she is going to the library. Oshi asks her many questions. Compared to Itsuomi, Oshi looks more like a child. Oshi sits down beside Yuki and wraps her hair around his hand. Yuki immediately brushes his hand away. Oshi rests his head on her shoulder. Looking sad, Itsuomi messages that he is standing at the ticket gate. Yuki quickly uses the crowd to avoid Oshi. Suddenly, someone pushes her aside and hugs her from behind. Itsuomi arrives just in time. Oshi runs over and becomes very angry when he sees the scene. But he quickly calms down and says that Yuki can't hear, so she shouldn't be hugged from behind. Itsuomi replies, "With me." She says it's okay. Itsuomi's arm blocks Yuki's view. She lowers her head and sees Oshi looking over this way. Meanwhile, Itsuomi also looks back at Oshi. Oshi leaves and doesn't forget to use sign language to call Yuki an idiot. Yuki asks Itsuomi what just happened. Itsuomi only says that boys have many personal matters, and she doesn't need to worry about it. Rin sits alone in the car with Kiyoya and feels very awkward. A man and a woman are sitting next to each other, but Kiyoya only asks whether the weather is nice today. Kiyoya sighs and tells Rin that he is a little worried. He realizes that Yuki seems to like Itsuomi. Itsuomi is very handsome and often causes misunderstandings. Kiyoya says that at the moment, Itsuomi seems to be chasing his dreams more than love. Previously, there was a girl at the cafe who cried after being rejected by Itsuomi. Kiyoya isn't sure what kind of kindness Itsuomi is showing toward Yuki. Everyone sees Itsuomi holding Yuki's hand. Yuki almost gets hit by a car, so Itsuomi holds her hand to keep her safe. Itsuomi gently helps Yuki into the car. They look just like a couple, making both Rin and Kiyoya feel awkward on their behalf. Today, Kiyoya wants to buy some supplies for the cafe. At this moment, when Rin looks back, she sees Itsuomi and Yuki chatting very closely using sign language. This makes her very happy. After that, they arrive at the shopping district. Now the whole group strolls around together. From a distance, Itsuomi calls out to Yuki in a very gentle voice. Both Rin and Kiyoya are very shocked. Itsuomi calls Yuki over to look at a very large cake. He says that he will buy it for her. Kiyoya leans close to Yuki and whispers that Itsuomi's voice just now was very soft. After hearing that, Yuki's heart starts beating fast. She wonders, what does his voice usually sound like, or has that gentle voice always been there? Itsuomi then finds a box of Belgian chocolates. He suggests that Yuki try buying it. The two of them walking side by side makes even the people around them feel happy. Itsuomi asks Yuki if she has ever been abroad. Yuki answers that she has never gone overseas. Itsuomi says that people with hearing impairments are very good at expressing themselves through gestures. He says that from the very first time he saw Yuki use sign language, her eyes left an unforgettable impression on him. Itsuomi jokes that next time he goes abroad, he'll put Yuki in a suitcase and take her along. He smiles and says that it's just a joke, but his words make Yuki's heart tremble. She wonders what kind of voice Itsuomi is using right now. At the end of the day, Itsuomi says that Rin and Kiyoya can go separately. He says that Kiyoya has been coming to the cafe frequently lately for that reason. Itsuomi tells Yuki that those two will leave on their own, and that he and Yuki will take the train home together. After walking for a while, Yuki suggests that the two of them go eat together. Itsuomi refuses and says that he will go home. He adds, "Of course, you'll come with me. I'll order pizza in advance for dinner." Itsuomi invites Yuki to his place for dinner. He says that his family is currently living overseas, so she doesn't need to worry. Itsuomi asks Yuki if she had fun today. Yuki replies in sign language that she had a lot of fun. Itsuomi takes both of her hands, gently lifts them up and then lowers them. He says that he also had a lot of fun. He sits down holding his phone. and pulls Yuki into his arms. Itsuomi asks, "Has anyone ever told you that when they're with you, they feel very sleepy?" He explains that it's not because of tiredness, but because when they're with Yuki, they feel very peaceful. At this moment, Yuki feels restless. She once thought that Itsuomi belonged to a very distant world, but now, she is inside his arms. In front of Itsuomi, Yuki can't think about anything else. She only wants to lean on him a little longer. On Oshi's side, Izumi asks Oshi to look after her dog for a few days, because she has to go on a family outing. Oshi recalls how he always called Yuki an idiot. Itsuomi shows Yuki a picture of his younger sister. He says that next year, both he and Rin will be third-year students. Rin says that Itsuomi is older, because he once took a break from school to work and study abroad. This year, Itsuomi is 22 years old, 3 years older than Yuki. Yuki asks where Itsuomi's family is currently living. Itsuomi takes out the sign language notebook that Yuki gave him. He writes in it that his family is living in Germany. Yuki realizes that perhaps Itsuomi still reads that notebook every day. Her handwriting and his handwriting are on the same page, like the two of them are having a conversation. Even though she can't hear Itsuomi's voice, Yuki can still feel the gentleness in the way he communicates. Itsuomi asks Yuki whether her family members know sign language. Yuki shakes her head. She says that her family doesn't know sign language. They usually communicate through handwritten notes, gestures, and lip movements. Yuki also practices pronunciation by watching facial expressions and lip movements. She tries her best to imitate the sounds as closely as possible. But Yuki only speaks out loud with her family, because in the past, when others heard her voice, the atmosphere would often become awkward. Itsuomi goes inside and brings out many coins from different countries. He says that this is the promise from the laundromat, that he would show Yuki many more things. Itsuomi picks up a mask and brings it close to Yuki's face. Yuki stands still for a few seconds, then suddenly bursts into laughter. Kiyoya calls to ask whether Itsuomi has taken Yuki home yet, but at this moment, Yuki is still at Itsuomi's place. Kiyoya panics and tells Itsuomi not to do anything strange. In reality, Itsuomi is just peeling chestnuts and feeding them to Yuki. On the other end of the call, Kiyoya is still very worried. He thinks Itsuomi and Yuki seem quite close, but Kiyoya still believes that Itsuomi is not a bad person. Kiyoya says that Itsuomi often puts his arm around other male friends, but even with Emma, he has never been this close. Kiyoya wonders whether Itsuomi sees Yuki as someone special. Yuki is reading the sign language notebook. Suddenly, Itsuomi lightly pokes her in the stomach. He says that he just wanted to make her laugh one more time. Yuki asks if doing that is strange. Itsuomi shakes his head and says that it's very cute. He says that he wants to know more about Yuki. He also wants to show her many more things. Itsuomi says that he wants to understand what a world where sounds are mixed together is like. He asks whether, when wearing hearing aids, Yuki is often misunderstood as being able to hear. He then asks, hesitating slightly, "Do you hate questions like that?" Yuki replies that if it's Itsuomi asking, then it's okay. Itsuomi recalls Yuki's earlier words, "With me, it's okay." He asks, then how okay is okay? Yuki forms a large circle with both of her hands. She writes a letter on his hand. At that exact moment, Emma rings the doorbell. Yuki realizes there is a guest and asks to leave first. Emma is very shocked to see a girl walking out of Itsuomi's room, because Emma was drunk last time. She doesn't remember who Yuki is. Emma deliberately speaks loudly, saying, "Thanks for letting me stay over the other day." Yuki doesn't hear that sentence. After Emma returns the key, Yuki sees Itsuomi and Emma standing next to each other. Yuki begins to think. She wonders what kind of relationship they have. Itsuomi plans to walk Yuki home, but Yuki hurriedly leaves and only sends a message, "I'm heading home first." When Itsuomi reads the message, he brushes Emma's hand aside and runs after her, but he can't find Yuki. The next day, Yuki recounts yesterday's events to Rin. She really wants to ask Itsuomi something, but she's afraid and doesn't dare to. Rin says that Itsuomi's gaze and voice toward Yuki are always very gentle. When she's with Itsuomi, Yuki always wants to lean on him. That feeling is like snow falling freely across the wide sky. Yuki wonders, how important am I to him? Suddenly, Itsuomi walks in. It seems Rin called him over. Yuki intends to leave, but Itsuomi takes her hand. He asks, "Why did you go home early yesterday?" He says, "Continue what you were writing yesterday." Earlier, Yuki wanted to ask, "Why do you want to learn sign language so much?" Itsuomi just smiles. He replies, "Of course, so I can talk with you." For Itsuomi, no matter what Yuki is, he still wants to understand her. For Yuki, Itsuomi is like the vast sky. She wants to be free like snowflakes falling in his world. The answer to the question, how much is everything. Itsuomi takes both of Yuki's hands and gently places a kiss on them. Yuki blushes, not understanding what is happening, then slowly collapses. She crawls away and tries to find her phone, but it's in her pocket. Itsuomi asks her, "Dizzy from lack of blood?" Yuki shakes her head, but before she can answer, he is already sitting nearby. She asks if he understood the meaning of her previous sign. He says that he always watches, so he probably knows her feelings. He continues to ask if Rin often goes to the cafe to see Kyoya. Then asks Yuki, "Do you go to see him too, somehow?" Yuki realizes she has started to understand the emotions surrounding love that she had never experienced before. Finally, she directly uses sign language, "I like you." But he doesn't see it because he's on the phone. Tonight, a group has chosen the cafe for the evening, so he has to go early. He says he will go abroad for about a month next week. Yuki asks when he will come back. He says, "When I return, we'll spend a lot of time together." As he's about to leave, Yuki asks, "Why did you kiss my hand just now?" He just strokes her head and thinks quietly, "Can I start liking her, even though they only met briefly?" That action makes Yuki very happy. Oshi is walking the dog when he meets Yuki's mother. Oshi asks about Yuki. Her mother says, Yuki will sleep over at Rin's place. Oshi thinks to himself, it probably wasn't Rin's idea to let her stay with Itsuomi. On the cafe side, Kyoya recalls that Itsuomi once said he didn't want a girlfriend because he often went abroad. Suddenly, Kyoya feels worried, because Itsuomi often does unexpected things, like going abroad without booking a hotel. He leans against Kyoya's back and says he wants to bring happiness to Yuki. Itsuomi wants to look at her with passion. At this moment, when Yuki and Rin arrive at the cafe, Itsuomi grabs Yuki's shoulder and asks Rin for a little time with her. Seeing that he seems cold, she gives him a scarf. He puts it on and says, "It's warm." He sets down the board and uses sign language to ask, "Can we date?" Yuki realizes and nods. He holds both of her hands and says, "I want your answer." And she keeps nodding. They enter the cafe together. Itsuomi announces, "We're dating." Rin and Kyoya are shocked, not understanding what just happened. Curfew has passed, and he wants to take Yuki home. Rin asks Kyoya to take him back later. On the way, Itsuomi texts Yuki, "You don't need to worry about me lending the key to someone else. I only rent out the room, but I won't do it anymore." When they arrive at the apartment, Yuki thanks him. He asks if Yuki has a passport. She says no, but wants to try going abroad. He promises to take her. As Yuki steps onto the stairs, Itsuomi calls her name. The door closes. He hugs her. In his arms, Yuki feels a new world, loving every moment of looking at him. Every expression of his is directed at her like a rain of light. On February 21st, their worlds intersected. Itsuomi's flight has taken off. The destination is Cambodia. To go abroad with him, Yuki has to find a part-time job. During interviews, the boss wears a mask, making it hard for her to read lips. She goes everywhere but is mostly rejected. Finally, she happens to stop by the hamburger shop from high school, where her friend Madoka always dreamed of working. And Yuki and Rin also try. Thanks to that, she becomes an employee. Yuki texts Madoka asking for job hunting tips. And Rin also gives advice. Rin says, having a boyfriend who often goes abroad can feel lonely sometimes. But for now, Yuki is dating Itsuomi, so she should just focus on love. Madoka advises her, many people will reject you when they see you're hearing impaired. So introduce yourself well and give it your all. Oshi texts Yuki, saying that his sister Mio, who learned sign language and played with Yuki in elementary school, has completely forgotten and now needs him to translate. Mio is working at a nursing home and wants Yuki's number. Yuki realizes Oshi is interested in becoming a sign language interpreter and praises him for being skilled. Oshi laughs, covers his mouth, and says, "Praise me again." Oshi asks if Yuki has seen Itsuomi recently, or stayed overnight at his place, and Yuki politely declines. Oshi feels relieved, only worrying like a friend. While working, Yuki often looks at her phone, sighing because Itsuomi hasn't replied for a whole week. In reality, Itsuomi has been sending photos and videos teaching sign language from abroad, along with a message, "Let me know if anything bothers you." Yuki says she didn't like him touching her stomach last time, and he agrees to be careful. He promises that when he returns, he will spend lots of time with her and pamper her wholeheartedly. After a few days of lost contact, Yuki receives the news. Itsuomi has returned. She rushes to the station to meet him. When they meet, Itsuomi moves his lips gently. "Can I hug you?" Yuki agrees. But during the hug it turns into a kiss, because she misread the lips from hug to kiss. Yuki is shocked, her heart racing. While Itsuomi remains calm, She notices his hair is longer, his shoulders broader, and this is their first time eating alone together. After finishing their meal, Itsuomi pays and leads Yuki to the park. He said he had something important to say, introduce his friend. Named Shin, Yuki was a little worried about the hearing issue, but agreed. The two held hands and went to Shin's apartment. When the door opened, Shin looked completely different from before, and Itsuomi introduced, "This is my girlfriend." Yuki realized that her heart was both nervous and happy, and this moment became truly special. Rin and Yuki were shopping, preparing for the sign language training trip. Madoka texted that she had asked a few part-time jobs and could introduce Yuki so she could go abroad with Itsuomi. Rin looked worried, remembering last spring break, when Rin worked part-time. A staff member often invited her to eat, but she refused. In the past few days, that person hadn't contacted her. During the training, Yuki asked Rin to help her have some private time with Itsuomi. Finally, the day for the outing arrived. Rin and Yuki wanted to show off matching outfits, but Itsuomi reacted weakly. He wanted Yuki to sit in the front because he was driving. If she kept looking at him, he would have trouble focusing, so Yuki turned to admire the scenery. Rin thought of a game for the car, linking wishes. Each person writes down their wish, and the next person has to connect it with a word. Rin wished to find new makeup. Someone else wished to think of a cocktail menu, buy cute shoes, or travel abroad with a girlfriend. Itsuomi seemed to wish to go abroad with Yuki, so she needed to quickly find a part-time job. When they arrived, everyone set up tents and prepared lunch. Itsuomi called the group to study sign language first. After lunch, the group ate together. At this time, Itsuomi fed Yuki, making the other two blush, so they suggested taking a walk together along the stream. At this time, Kiyoya asked Rin if she had a boyfriend, but she hadn't answered yet. Suddenly, an employee called her. Rin quickly declined because she was busy. Kiyoya guessed Rin liked someone, but Rin admitted she already liked someone else. Kiyoya then talked about his longest relationship, about 5 years, and now starting to date again would be a bit troublesome. Rin curiously asked who the person he liked was. While Yuki waited for a reply from Madoka, she saw Itsuomi fishing in the stream. She went down to join him. The water was cold, so he carried her and teased her, making her scared. Yuki hugged him tightly. Seeing him laugh innocently, she felt safe and her heart fluttered. Yuki said she still hadn't found a part-time job, and her friend could introduce her to a place. Itsuomi apologized if what he said in the car put pressure on her. But Yuki felt even more excited. He rested his head on her knees, pulled her close, hugged and held her hands. He asked if she needed to go home today, and gently kissed her on the cheek. Rin and Kiyoya went home, but Rin twisted her ankle, so Kiyoya took her to the hospital. Itsuomi and Yuki decided to go home together. Itsuomi tried to remain calm at all times, but when he was with Rin, he wondered if she was the one he liked. He said that dating again would be troublesome, but with Yuki, it wasn't. On weekends, whenever they were free, they would watch movies together. All night, Itsuomi played movies for Yuki without turning on subtitles. While watching, Yuki received a call from Madoka, in sign language. Madoka wasn't born deaf, but later lost her hearing. She often used sign language and her voice so she wouldn't forget how to communicate. Itsuomi leaned over the phone, startling Yuki. When she heard the news that Yuki had a boyfriend, he also used sign language to explain that Madoka had found someone to hire Yuki as a kitchen assistant. While watching the movie together, Itsuomi held Yuki's hand, lightly kissed her hand many times, leaned closer to her face, and said, "Relax." Then he gave her a kiss. On their date, Yuki and Itsuomi took the train. Yuki remembered that the first time they met was also on a train. She was excited to go to the flower garden to take pictures. Everywhere, the flowers were in full bloom. When they reached the riverside with the purple wisteria, Yuki was delighted and realized she had been captivated by these moments. She took many photos to keep as memories. Itsuomi borrowed Yuki's phone, and the two took pictures together. He counted down with his hands and then took a photo of them both. They ate the bento that Yuki had prepared, which was delicious. Mentioning beer, Itsuomi talked about drinking with Oshi before, and said that now the two were close. Yuki realized that Itsuomi naturally guided Oshi. Itsuomi intended to kiss Yuki, but realized it was a bit awkward in public. Yuki blushed and said, "It's a little embarrassing, but I want to be close to you." He gently reached out, and Yuki inched closer little by little. Previously, Yuki had asked why he often went abroad. He promised to explain over the phone, because it would take too long. Itsuomi invited Rin to go boating, and Yuki secretly took photos of him from behind. When discovered, Itsuomi smiled and used sign language to allow her to take pictures. His words, "Everything is okay," made Yuki overjoyed. She held back tears of happiness while being with him. After 4 hours of dating, the two were on a crowded train. The train shook, and Itsuomi shielded Yuki. Two schoolgirls apologized, and he just smiled. Yuki thought he was really cool. But his coolness wasn't just about his appearance. Yuki read the message Itsuomi sent the previous night. He said that since he was little, he liked vehicles, especially airplanes. He went to Germany with his family at the age of 6. Loved traveling, but found it hard to communicate at school because he couldn't understand what his friends were saying. One day, a ball rolled over, and he learned German to communicate. That moment made him love learning languages and world cultures. Itsuomi sent the photos Yuki had taken today and messaged, "You keep taking photos without looking at me. Even for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I still want to see you." Since meeting Yuki, he had always been curious about her. Yuki couldn't hold back tears when reading the message. Itsuomi's words made her realize new feelings. The more time she spent with him, the more she fell in love. She became confident, daring to buy the books she wanted to read. After a while, Madoka also agreed to date Shin. He gave Jane a ring, and they finally confessed their feelings to each other. Finally, Yuki got her passport, preparing to travel the world with Itsuomi. The world was vast, full of colors, and every day together would become even more wonderful. Today's video ends here. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support Oni-chan in making more interesting videos. Thank you all for watching until the very end. Love forever.